Shabbat Shalom. Our parsha this Shabbat, I already told you, what is it? Vayakhel. As we said, it's about Shabbat, but it also tells us about the building of the tabernacle a second time. The first time we hear about that is in Parsha Terumah. However, this time it details the actual execution of the task. The Torah, as I always say, consistently parallels whatever is going on in our lives. So I ask myself with this Shabbat, why this Parsha? Why this Shabbat? On the surface, this Parsha is about the building of the physical dwelling for God to dwell amongst us. However, metaphysically, it is about so much more. And we all know I'm about the metaphysical. The fact that it comes around again a second time, detailing the task ahead, isn't an accident. It is now juxtaposed against Mercury retrograde, all those planets that we've had, the wrapping up cosmically of a year, and the rapidly approaching spiritual renewal available to us at the time of Passover, which it's hard to believe it's just in a few weeks. And that is actually the true start of our Judaic year. We are approaching a time of retrospection similar to the High Holy Days, as I said last Shabbat. At Yom Kippur, we hold the mirror up to ourselves, we look at ourselves, and we look within. At this time, coming out of Purim, as I said last Shabbat, we are holding up the mirror to reveal that which is hidden. At Passover, we have enormous energy available for redemption, renewal, and the restructuring of our lives. That which has enslaved us can be reckoned with, and the light of the divine is more accessible to help reorganize and realign our path forward with God's intention. So with our Parsha, we can look at it two ways. First is written strictly outlining the details of construction, or metaphysically with the Kabbalistic perspective. On the material plane, this Parsha is all about the building of the Mishkan, the artistry, the artist, everything that was donated, and the work that was necessary to create the physical dwelling place for God. Maimonides, in the Guide for the Perplexed, says most people are influenced by aesthetic considerations, which is why the sanctuary was designed to inspire admiration and awe. Why a continual light, the Ner Tamid, burned there, why the priestly robes were so impressive, why there was music in the form of the Levitical choir, and why incense was burned to cover up the smell of the sacrifices. In ancient times, the tabernacle and everything in it was meticulously crafted, manifested through donations brought by everyone. So now we switch from donating for the building of the calf, we just had that, to now donating for that which is sacred and holy. And yet we wandered with it. We created this wonderful thing, this beautiful holy tabernacle that we actually carried with us everywhere we journeyed. And it is said that it was about the size of our whole building. And yet, after the two temples were destroyed, physical dwelling places for God, we were meant to adjust and know that we carry Torah inside of us wherever we go. We were to know that the journey would be guided by the divine just as it was thousands of years ago. The Mishkan, its beautiful aesthetic, and all it represented would not have been possible without the sacrifice of the people, their selfless labor, and the generosity of spirit. Things are no different today than years gone by. The Mishkan is maintained through sacrifice, generosity of spirit, generosity of service, and yes, too, donation. If the money ceases to exist, so too does the Mishkan. If the people's devotion falters, so too does the Mishkan. This is happening to religious institutions around the world. COVID took its toll, but once everyone got used to streaming in their pajamas with a glass of wine, it's gotten a lot harder to support the physical dwelling place that is the Mishkan, Tefillah. Some worship places do really, really well when they're strategically located, while others struggle. The important thing is to remember that the original Mishkan journeyed with the people, and so too did God. The impermanence and change that is so true of life is more palpable than the structures that can burn down. It is the beauty of the soul and its inherent connection to the divine and its will to step out and dwell in community that is the real eternal flame that keeps burning. Whether within four walls or wandering in the wilderness, humanity will always need something to believe in that is greater than what the eye can see. We can be comforted by the artistic beauty that surrounds us, but real peace comes from within and the knowledge that God is always with us, whether in the stillness within that we try to connect to as a Shema, or in the edifices that we construct. Our devotion, our generosity of spirit will be rewarded as long as we fight to stay aligned with that which is divine. Kabbalist Karen Berg presents this a different way. What we have in Vayakhel is an opportunity to renew and remember our spiritual process. It is a time to embrace life again, for we are soon due to repeat the cycle of the year once more. We come to the end of the year and we ask ourselves, are we still on our spiritual journey? Are we following our truth? The portion Vayakhel comes to awaken us to our dreams, our desires, and to remind us of our purpose in life. The portion accounts the contributions that the Israelites gave to the building of the tabernacle as well as its overall construction. However, metaphysically, it is about the building of our own spiritual internal vessels and our effort and our contribution towards that process, individually and collectively. We read for the second time about the building of the tabernacle. In Vayakhel, we rebuild the tabernacle to house the energy of the Creator and to rebuild our own spiritual vessel, but without the negativity of the golden calf. We are blessed with the opportunity to continue forward with our spiritual elevation, but with a new and improved consciousness if we connect and allow ourselves. This week, we are able to rebuild again and redefine and reestablish our goals, distancing ourselves from negative energies and distraction. We are afforded the great gift to start again. Only this time, we have more focus and purity for our process for the coming year. Vayakhel is rebuilding and reestablishing our goals, our dreams, but with a more purified consciousness. We are able to remember and honor each of our own personal and collective truths. We are given the opportunity to reestablish our path and recommit to follow our voice within. So I asked, why this parsha on this Shabbat? The answer was just given. We are given the opportunity to reestablish our path and recommit to follow our voice within. So where does this voice lead us? In ancient times, we were freed from Egypt, and we wandered, following Moses and his voice and the voice of God. In current times, we're actually a little better off. We have more choice. Will we use the experience and the lessons gleaned from the voice of God, Moses, and our ancestors to guide us? Will we channel the energy available to us on this Shabbat and in the coming weeks as we approach Passover to recreate, rebuild, and reach for something new? Rebuilding and reestablishing with a more purified consciousness, without the negativity of the golden calf. Will we seize the opportunity that is given to us at this time to evaluate, recommit, and redefine? Can we be open to the possible new ways of constructing the sacred space we build for ourselves personally, spiritually, collectively, and for God? No matter what, it is our soul's journey, and as we approach the beginning of our actual new year, may the search inward reveal to us the path forward. May it be true for all of us. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom.